Unhinged stars Russell Crowe as a very unstable motorist who stalks a young woman after a road rage incident. I'm showing this shit to my wife next time she honks at a random motorist on the road. That's all I'm saying. You just never know who that other person is, so definitely be careful out there. So this movie caused a little bit of hoopla a few weeks back on Twitter and on YouTube, a little bit of drama. It was because a certain YouTuber, and I won't mention any names, but it rhymes with Mace Gandalf. But anyway, that person walked out of a screening of this movie and then proceeded to give it a full review on her YouTube channel anyway. If I knew that was a thing, I wouldn't have wasted my time watching half the shit that I've watched. I'm just saying. If you're going to review something on a YouTube channel, I think you owe it to your audience to at least put your personal beliefs aside just for a minute, swallow your pride, and just watch the whole movie so you can give an actual accurate review of what's going on. I'm not surprised it happened though, because this movie will not work if you are soft and easily offended by everything. And this YouTuber has a history of saying things like this about certain movies that just offend her delicate sensibilities, I guess. Which honestly just makes me lose all faith in you as a movie critic. If you bring legit criticism to a movie, then obviously I'm here for it. I'm down to listen. The minute you start talking about how it's offensive to women, or how it's insensitive considering the volatile times we live in, if that's your response, then I'm just tuning you out. You know why? Because it's a fucking movie. But I digress. On to the movie itself. This movie has its moments, but it fails on a few levels for me. Many movies require the audience to kind of throw out logic and not analyze the actions of the characters in the movie so much in order to make it believable. But honestly, there was a lot in this movie where I just couldn't help myself. Like, it was not easy for me to suspend my disbelief. I just fundamentally disagreed with everything that the protagonist does. The protagonist being Rachel in this case. She just wasn't smart in certain situations in this movie. I feel like this conflict could have been resolved a lot sooner had she reacted in a more rational thinking manner. And I know what you're saying. If she did that, there would be no movie. And I get it. Again, it's me nitpicking perhaps a little bit, whatever you want to call it. But I think the issue is that they use these questionable decisions to move the very thin plot along. And it's just very noticeable, in my opinion. Russell Crowe, who was obviously a great actor, he just didn't bring as much to this role as I was hoping for. Like, when I heard he was going to be in this, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like a thriller or almost a horror movie type situation with a very well-respected actor in it. And I was thinking this could be one of those moments where a well-respected actor enters one of these movies and takes this role and makes it into something memorable. I guess I was just expecting something a little bit deeper than what we actually get. I mean, we get backstory about who he is. We know that he's recently divorced. We know he was cheated on. We know he murdered his ex-wife and her lover. We know he takes pills. We know he's unstable. But I just wanted to know, I guess, a little bit more about him and what exactly his issues were. And maybe they were going for less is more approach, but I don't know. I just didn't get that memorable feeling. I will say he was intimidating, though. And that intimidation lends itself to some of the best moments in the movie. And those moments are the more brutal and twisted sequences. In fact, I'd say the moments of violence are definitely the highlight of this movie, if you're into that sort of thing. But those high points are kind of few and far between. By the way, I have to ask, I don't know if this was a transformation by Crowe or if this is just who he is now, but he looks drastically different. Like, he's got a keg on the front of him. He definitely got a lot bigger. Just saying, I hope he's okay and healthy. I'd say my favorite part of the movie was probably the diner scene. And I won't go into too much detail to avoid spoilers as much as possible. But it's one of those moments of violence that I just talked about, and it works, honestly. It has tension, it has a lot of buildup, and there's a payoff. And it's just a really well done sequence, and I thought it was pretty entertaining. The final act just kind of reverted back to the protagonist making awful decisions again. And again, it's these decisions that kind of just took me out of the movie. And it even made the climax feel a little bit anticlimactic and maybe even unsatisfying. Like, after everything he puts her through, I just expected to feel a little bit more when it's resolved, and I didn't. I get what they were trying to do with this movie, but to me it's just missing something. I think they needed to do more to make me care and make me get interested in these characters. That being said, I do think they were trying to say things with this movie, and they probably could have executed a little bit better, but there are messages there. There's something to be said about people going through similar awful situations like divorce and just different people handling it different ways. Also, again, it just introduces the idea that you should probably think twice before doing something that could set another person off. Because, again, you just don't know what that person is going through, and you need to be mindful of those things. You can't just always act off emotion. Sometimes you just need to collect yourself. The world is a crazy, angry place, and you just have to be careful. So for the love of God, just watch that road rage. That's all I'm saying. It really sounds like I'm trashing the movie, but what I'm actually trying to say is it's entertaining in spots. It's good enough for a one-time view, but it's not something that I necessarily will ever need to revisit. I mean, I got everything I needed out of it the first time. So did you see Unhinged? Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. All for the love of movies. Thanks for watching. Peace out.